There we go. Don't you just love when stuff doesn't work? Anyway, so I'll go through all that again. Hello, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. We do have an update regarding Sunday and Monday's significant severe weather event. Or I'm sorry, I'm so used to severe weather, winter weather event. First one we've had in a while. Forgive me. First like winter event we've had in a while. Forgive me a little bit. Of course, as you're coming into the broadcast, both on YouTube and Facebook tonight, tap that share button at the bottom portion of your screen. That gets this video out on your news feed so that your friends and family can view it. A lot of weird information going around today. So please help us by sharing the broadcast so we can correct some expectations and get your friends and family the accurate information that they need. So hopefully you guys shared the crap out of the video last night. Hopefully you guys do it again and we can get the correct information out to as many people as possible. So thank you for your help with that. We appreciate your help. And thank you for getting that done for us. I already see all the likes and hearts coming across the screen, even some angry faces. I'm a little bit angry too about what I have to tell you tonight. Jacob, Ricky, Lori, Shelly, Katie, everyone else, Kenny, Rebecca, thank you guys for all your shares on the broadcast. We appreciate you helping us out with that. Again, sharing the broadcast is the number one way that you can support us and the number one way that you can get the accurate information, help spread out. We'll give it about a minute until we get started. If you're just not tuning in here or hopping on, you have not missed a thing. I'm going to give it a little bit more time before we start just because I didn't put out that notification like I usually do. I forgot to because we've been so busy getting all the maps and stuff done that we're going live. A stars party started. Hopefully, that gets finished. Chrissy, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate that. Beth, thank you for the share on the broadcast. Alicia, Kathy. Brittany, hello. How are you from Logan County? Linda, hello. Angela, hello from Western Kentucky. Kayla over there on YouTube, hello. Didn't forget about YouTube tonight. Zachary, hello. How are you doing? Um, Put in the blooper reel. Yeah, Zach. No kidding. No kidding. Ricky over there on Facebook, thank you for your 100 stars. Once we get to about 70 shares, I'll start. That's usually when I know. I've done enough of these broadcasts, and usually about 70 shares is when I know to get things started. We've got 450 people in here, so I'm sure that won't be a problem. 70 shares is usually about the time I know is the time to start rolling into the information. If you're just not tuning in here, let me go through the intro once again. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. We do have an update for you regarding the event for Sunday into Monday. Some new data starting to come in now and throughout the night. Of course, we'll post some numerous updates, but I'll tell you where we are as of right now. Of course, all this can change by the morning, but I don't expect it to change too much. Jennifer, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone that's sharing the broadcast. We appreciate your help with sharing the correct information. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. I've seen like old forecasts from like years ago being shared. I've seen so many different things happening on the internet today. I wanted to go live once again tonight and just kind of set the story straight, get your expectations accurate on what to expect. Mandy, Angela, Brad, Debbie, Jim, Vicky, Christopher, hello over there on Facebook, over on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. New subscribers coming on in. We've grown 300 subscribers in the last like 12 hours on YouTube, by the way. So thank you to everyone that's done that. All right. Angelica, thank you for 20 stars. Terry, Landon, thank you for sharing the broadcast. Pamela, thank you for sharing the broadcast as well. Okay. Now that we got some of the more housekeeping stuff out of the way, let's start diving into some of this. So we're going to look at some of the model data, of course, as we always do. Andrea, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Thank you. Or Andrea, thank you for your 100 stars. Now that we've got some of the housekeeping stuff away, let's dive into the information. So again, if you're just now hopping on the broadcast, I give it a little bit longer just because I didn't make that post like I usually do about going live in a little bit. So I wanted to give it a little bit more time. But thank you for tuning on in. You have not missed a thing. We're going to look at the our forecast. We're going to look at model data and go on from there. So let's go ahead and get over to our main screen and see what we're looking at here. So first, we're going to start with the European model, and I'll probably just stay on this one, honestly. I think it has the best idea on what to expect. I think it's handling the system really well. Now, of course, there are some other ideas. I'll show you this one and the North American model, and we'll go from there. So I want to make it very clear. The start time for pretty much everyone in Kentucky is somewhere between 5 to 9 a.m. on Sunday. That's Eastern time. It's going to enter the Western Kentucky portion of the area. Let me pull my radar real quick. It's going to enter the Western Kentucky portion of the area. Let me make sure you can see this. And then move east. So again, just for some visual here, because I want to make sure all the information is getting out. It's going to start in this portion of the area and then head east. So if you're in this portion of the area, obviously it'll start closer to 5 a.m. If you're in the far eastern portion of the area, obviously it'll start closer to 9 a.m. So hopefully we can use some sense and connect the two dots there. Throughout the state, as you can tell, there are winter weather watches or winter storm watches up for everyone except for the bottom 4 counties here. You are lonely, and you probably stay that way. So if anyone's in here from Murray or from Mayfield asking if they're going to be included in the watch, you will potentially see a winter weather advisory at some point, but even that's probably a doubt. This bottom row of counties, when time comes, will probably be converted over to a winter weather advisory, all right, in my opinion, and then everyone else will eventually be upgraded to a winter storm warning, okay? The reason that they're not going with an ice storm warning, even though ice is the dominant precipitation mode for some, is because the winter storm warning technically covers the combination of ice, sleet, and snow. It's not just for snow. So contrary to popular belief, the winter storm warning is not just for snow, all right? I wanted to make that clear before we dive into everything. So as we get closer, probably Saturday night, again, we don't issue these watches. I don't get into that stuff. I leave that to the National Weather Service. But I do believe that as we get to a Saturday night, maybe very early on Sunday, maybe even earlier on Saturday, we'll probably see these converted to winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. All right. So that's the current look on that. By the way, this is weatherwise.app. If you want to download this, and a lot of you have asked about that, weatherwise.app. They give you all the outlooks and stuff, as well as a really, really probably #1 radar out right now. So that said, first of all, I want to zoom us out to the national view, and then we'll zoom into regional and local, okay? So I just kind of want to show you what we're dealing with here. This is a massive winter storm, and it's not only going to have implications on us, but several of the states around us. Matter of fact, let's see here. Can I find it? Yes, here it is. I am running off of coffee and Munster and Mountain Dew right now. Look at how wide the winter advisories and warnings and watches go. I mean, this is, you got 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. At least 11, well, 12, 13. Those are for a different system. But anyway, about 15 states included in all the winter warnings and advisories and watches. That's a lot. That is a lot. So, again, kind of want to show you the scope of the storm before we dive into the actual stuff that's going to happen here. The storm has made it on land. You can see it right here. The front side's over here where this low pressure is. The back side's over here toward the ocean. And it has made it on land, which means that we actually have more accurate data in the models now. I do expect that after we get off of this broadcast and I go look at the 0Z data, which is the nighttime data, I do expect it to be pretty accurate. All right, and then as we get closer, obviously it'll get more accurate. The more we get closer, the more we can start getting more specific on things. So now that we have that in our minds, let's go ahead and go to the regional view. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of advance this on forward. This right here is valid for Sunday at about 4 a.m. Eastern time. You can tell it's knocking on the door of Western Kentucky at that point as rain. As I knock this on forward, you start to see all the pretty colors begin to pop up. On your screen is purple, red, pink, blue, green, yellow. Obviously, your green and yellow, we all know, means rain. Your red, or whatever you want to call that, again, I'm not an artist, but it looks like red to me. That is indications of freezing rain. The purple is sleet, the blue is snow, and those hot pinks that you see within the blue, that is the heaviest amount of snowfall rates that this model can predict. So that's up to about 5 inches per hour of snowfall rate. So a extremely strong snowfall. Advancing this on forward, this is valid for Sunday at about 10 a.m. Eastern time. You can see that this model does bring extremely heavy snowfall at the beginning of this. So we're going to actually start as snow for most people in Kentucky. You're going to start as snow. And then you're going to transition to freezing rain for several hours. And then you're going to transition to sleet and kind of a mix of everything after that. And then on the back side, we're going to have a little bit of a break, okay? And then on the back side, around late Sunday, early Monday morning, we're going to actually transition back to snow. So it's going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Here, let me put this in the chat real quick because a lot of people are asking. Go to this website here, weatherwise.app. You can download the radar there. Because I just happen to look over and see a lot of people asking about that. And of course, if you need some help on how to operate that, because it is technically a professional radar, just of course message the page and I'll try to help you as much as possible. I'll also try to make a quick video on it. And I can kind of go through it right here too when we get more toward the end. So anyway, we will start as a very heavy snowfall. I mean, that is almost maxed out on the snowfall rates. So very heavy snowfall to start off with. Early Sunday morning around 10 a.m. Eastern time. As we advance this forward, this is valid for about 2 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. You can tell now that we're transitioning to a little bit of freezing rain. In fact, pretty heavy freezing rain in western and central Kentucky. To the north and northeast Kentucky and far east Kentucky, you're still a snowfall. But watch as we go through the next several hours on this model. You'll see some of the precip is getting weaker on the east side. And when you get closer to the low pressure, the precip actually gets stronger. As we advance this to Sunday at about 5 p.m. Eastern time, which is rush hour on the way home for Sunday, it is an absolute mess. You can see why we are telling you guys by 10 a.m. on Sunday, you already need to be parked into your house because you are not going to want to drive in this. All right. Pushing this on forward to Sunday, Sunday at about 8 p.m. Sorry about that. Full-on ice storm occurring now between the parkways and the I-64 corridor, and then up in northern Kentucky, you're talking about still some light to moderate snow ongoing up there. Plain rain down in that southern rural county. So if you heard me or if you read on that post I made just a little bit ago, you saw me say that southern row of counties will warm to a plain rain eventually. Now, again, that still doesn't really matter a whole lot because you'll eventually drop below 25 degrees on Monday. And when you do, everyone in the state, by the way, will drop below 25 degrees on Monday. And when that occurs, a flash freeze will happen. So no matter what happens with the soil temperatures or surface temperatures or anything like that, anything that's on the ground wet below 25 degrees will flash freeze. All right? As we advance this on forward, this is valid for Sunday late, or about 10 p.m. or so. Still an onslaught of freezing rain and heavy snow throughout portions of Kentucky. That warm nose is starting to get a little bit closer to the bluegrass in western Kentucky parkways at this point. But again, it'll really cool back down rapidly very soon. As I advance this on forward, you could tell where that warm nose begins to stop. Just a smidge north of the parkways. All right. Advancing this on forward. That low pressure is now starting to move out to the east. And what you will see is this low pressure is going to go from 1,000 to 1. Probably below 1,000, which technically means that it's getting stronger. And when it gets stronger, it creates a deformation band on the backside. What is a deformation band? Something we need to all get familiar with. It is a heavier, isolated, usually on the backside of a low pressure band of snow. All right. As that advances on forward, this is valid for Monday at about 6 a.m. You can tell that deformation band is starting to get going. That western Kentucky portion of the area now getting in on some snowfall according to this model. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate or not in my opinion. Some light freezing drizzle ongoing in eastern Kentucky, which by the way, that's concerning in itself because when you get light freezing drizzle to occur, it can set on the power lines a lot easier. When it's raining very hard, think about if you pour out a bottle of water, right? And it's coming down really hard, it will pass through everything. But if you have a bottle of water and you're pouring it out very, very light, well, it's lighter, has more of a chance of stopping. Like say if you hold an object above where you're holding that or where you're pouring that water out, it'll set on that object a lot better. So the light freezing drizzle is still a concern of its own. Advancing this on forward to Monday around 10 a.m. You'll see some heavier snows now ongoing in central Kentucky, as well as western and northeastern, so on and so forth. This is valid for Monday at about 3 p.m. and then 6 p.m., so on and so forth. And then, according to this model, by Monday at about 7 p.m., it's out of the state. Now, I do think it'll end a little bit sooner than that. I don't think it stays as long as 7 p.m. I'm thinking more around the 3 p.m. time frame. But again, it's absolutely possible. So, I'm not going to show amounts from this model. I'm just not. So, going to the North American model, I want to show you, basically what I'm using the models is to show you the different scenarios that are setting up. So, that was the European model, all right? This is the North American model. It's a bit more short range. It should be better, but the problem with this model is it has what we call a warm bias. Basically, it runs warmer typically than what usually happens. So as a result of that, 1 to 2 degrees can make all the difference, right? Instead of it being freezing rain, it will be regular rain. So this model might be a bit misleading when it comes to the battle of freezing rain versus regular rain. Advancing this forward, it does start a little bit later than the European model. This has it starting more toward that 7 to 10 a.m. time frame. Starts with that snow, sleet, and freezing rain and regular rain. It's just a mess. I don't think this model had a very good run here. Advancing this forward, it shows a wide band of snow, a wide band of sleet, a wide band of freezing rain by Sunday at about 10 a.m. Eastern time. So even on both models, even though they show different things, right, we know that on both models, by 10 a.m. Eastern time, we should be off the roads. I can't make that clear enough. By 10 a.m. Eastern time, we should be off the roads. Watch church from home, okay? There's plenty of internet church streams, plenty of Facebook church streams, so on and so forth, all right? It doesn't matter. By 10 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday, you should be off the roads at home, finished up all your prep. There's no more time for preparations. You should be in your building at that point. I don't think so. Advancing this forward to 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday, you see an onslaught of snow, freezing rain, and sleet at this point, just basically filling up all of Kentucky with everything. Advancing this forward, this does have 2 dry slots. Again, you can kind of see them right there on this front side and on the back side in between all the moisture. I don't think that happens. I do think there will be a dry slot close to the low pressure like that's what it's showing over here. This dry slot here, I don't think this is going to be the case. I think this will be a little bit more filled in. That's a good way to put it, Mike. That's a good way to put it. Again, this has like almost no precip going on here. I do think this is a bit more filled in. So this is not a good model run in my opinion, but I still wanted to show you it just to show you that there are different scenarios at play. So this shows a big break and then a really big warm nose into Kentucky. That warm nose, remember on the European model, went to about the parkways, which is about where my cursor is now. This warm nose on this model goes all the way up to the Ohio River. So very interesting, 2 different scenarios there. Advancing this forward, it does kind of start to move the low pressure over to the east here. And then as it does, this is valid for Monday at about 6 a.m. Eastern time. Also brings in a heavy snow band on the backside, more focused on that northern Kentucky by the Ohio River area. And then by Monday afternoon, it exits the area as well. So the timing is pretty similar on all models. The dry slots and how far north that warm nose comes is what's kind of undetermined at this point, and that makes all the difference in the world, right? If that warm nose comes up a little bit more, well, that means more freezing rain for the Ohio River, less snowfall. If it stays down further south, that means more snowfall for central Kentucky and less freezing rain. I can't explain to you how crucial, I'm going to back this up a little bit, how crucial this big red L is right here, how that moves, where that moves, how strong it is, or how weak it is. That makes all the difference in the world. A stronger low pressure, let's say this reads at about 998. That technically means a stronger low pressure, okay? The lower that number is on the L, the stronger the low pressure. I know it's kind of confusing. The stronger that is, the more warm air that will come up into Kentucky. The weaker that is, or how much further south that is, that means more wintry precip, whether it be more snow, whether it be more sleet, whether it be more freezing rain. It makes all the difference in the world. So over the next 24 hours to 30 hours before the event starts, you know, my butt's going to be parked back here trying to figure out where that's going to go. It really is. Because that's still undetermined at this point. So, we'll show you our forecast here in just a second. I want to give you a few quick messages from our sponsors. They're the reason we can do what we can do. So hopefully, you can hear them out and see what they have to say. So from Right Implement, they wanted us to mention they have plenty of winter supplies still in stock if you need some last minute supplies. Be sure to check any of their 15 locations across the state and across southern Indiana. And of course, make sure you go visit them and see if you can find some winter supplies. Because I know I went to Walmart today and they were already pretty much out of everything. So another resort is Right Implement. Make sure you go check them out. FBI Buildings has over half a century of experience in renovating, remodeling, and rebuilding any residential and commercial buildings. They also can give your pole barns new life. If any disaster hits, be sure to go to FBIbuildings.com for a free quote. And then finally, Digital Solutions in Radcliffe, Kentucky is a family-owned tech shop. Be sure to repair or purchase any device from them and keep the business local. Thank you to Kayla and her team for supporting WNK, and thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to be able to be here for you guys 24/7. So big shout out to our sponsors. Thank you guys so much. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do this for you guys 24/7. So here are our forecasts. I just want to kind of show you these. I already posted these, so a lot of you are probably already familiar with them. Now, I want to make it very clear. If I notice a shift on that low pressure, this map will change. As well, the ice map will change. All right. So I want to make that very clear. This is not. I'm probably going to end up changing this, just like everyone's probably going to end up changing their maps. Right. This is just the first call of what we've currently seen, what we've done over the last week, of everything that where we are right now. This is the first call for snowfall. 3 to 6 inches basically along the I-64 corridor. 6 to 9 inches to the north of that. 1 to 3 inches basically around the parkways to the I-64 corridor. And then about a dusting to 1 inch down in southern Kentucky. Once again, if that low pressure does move, it can be more or less snowfall in some areas. As for the ice map, that is not the map that is not the picture that I pulled up. Again, don't you just love when stuff just does not do what you tell it to do? That is a YouTube thumbnail, not the map that I'm wanting. This is the map that I'm wanting. So, this is again ice accumulation. Now, keep in mind these are going to be my Monday morning. So if you are going through the day on Sunday and you're like, man, George was so wrong. We did not end up with 3 inches of snow, for example. Right? This is by Monday. This is not by Sunday afternoon. This is the totality of the event. So I just wanted to make that clear as well. So a lot of people don't like to read that part. Major impact, high impact, medium impact, small impact. What I mean by that is how long or how hard the impact might be from the ice. So major impact is a third of an inch, or third of an inch to 6/10 of an inch of ice. That's a lot of ice. That's a lot of ice. That's enough to, again, like I said on the post I made earlier, that's enough to keep you in their homes for a few days. Some people took that quite literally, figuratively. I mean, if you want to go challenge the roads, by all means, absolutely go do it. I'm going to tell you right now, your little Toyota Corolla is going to spin out and be in the grass. There's a reason that when ice gets on the ground, the plow trucks go back to the base and don't get on the road. Trust me, our cars at home are not going to be able to get the job done. I cannot make that clear enough. I cannot make it clear enough. I cannot. 0.2 to 0.5 inches, just outside of that big zone there. And 0.1 to 0.2 inches, which, by the way, 0.25 inches is technically enough for an ice storm warning. So even 0.1 to 0.2 will make impacts as well. And then nothing to about a trace in that white zone. So again, that is for ice. And then here is again for the snowfall. Cheyenne, again, don't bank on that, Cheyenne. I do think Bowling Green still sees some impacts, especially early on Sunday before you warm up. You'll see some slick roads. And then Sunday night, once you cool down, overnight into Monday, then you'll see some more impacts. That was just for ice and like totality. Anyone that even gets a little sliver of ice on the ground, you will see impacts. Ice is very slippery. It does not take much at all. It does not take much at all. So, again, just because you might not be in the highest zones does not mean that you're not going to see anything, does not mean that you're not going to have any impacts. I do think almost everyone in the state will see impacts from this. That is why the National Weather Service put out this massive winter storm watch, because you will see impacts. Again, so I just want to point out there's a lot of questions going on. There's a lot of details that needs to be covered here. If that low pressure moves at all, shifts a little bit north or south, it makes more people in play. Let's say that low pressure goes 75 miles to the south, which is a realistic possibility. Well, now all of a sudden Bowling Green is in that 1 to 3 inch snow zone. So again, that's how fine the margins are. So I do expect this to change. Keep checking back for updates. I promise tomorrow we'll do like a real big Q&A. But for everyone asking about specific towns and cities, they're literally on the graphic. I promise you, they're on the graphic. You can find all the information there. The timing is the same for everyone. These graphics, by the way, are already on our Twitter and Facebook. So just keeping that in mind as well. If you can't necessarily see them on the broadcast, they are already on our Facebook and Twitter, so you can go see those graphics there. All the details we mentioned in this broadcast are already on our Facebook and Twitter as well. I refuse to call it X. But again, all that information is already out there. So power outages are more likely when in what? Yes, Robin. I do think power outages will be a possibility and a probability for most folks, especially in that major impact zone. Ice, like I said, is not only extremely slippery, but it's extremely, extremely heavy. So when it sits on those power lines, when it sits on those tree limbs, when it sits on objects outside, it's going to break some things. So Debbie says, is this going to be as bad as the 2009 ice storm? Debbie, I will never compare anything to that storm because it's so historically just insane. So I don't think we're looking at that, but this will be probably the strongest ice storm since 2009. Will it be the same as 2009? Those are two completely different things. I don't think it will be. But you got to remember, a lot of folks in Kentucky didn't get back to their houses for 3 or 4 weeks in 2009. I know personally here in Radcliffe, we couldn't access our home for almost 5 weeks in 2009. I don't think that's the case here. I think you will be either confined to your home or won't have access to your home for a few days if you're in that major impact zone. But I don't think you're talking about a few weeks. Those are two completely different things. Again, start time is about 5 to 9 a.m. on Sunday, depending upon where you're at. If you're in Western Kentucky, it's going to start more toward that 5 o'clock time frame. If you're in Eastern Kentucky, it's going to start more toward that 9 a.m. time frame. And then it goes all the way until Monday afternoon. Tammy, thank you for 20 stars. Jose, again, Radcliffe's right there above E-Town on the map. You can find all the information right there, my friend. Yes, Kyle, weather balloons did go up this morning and this afternoon, and I believe they're putting them up like every 2 or 3 hours, keeping constantly refreshing the analysis. That's why I'm really looking forward to this late night data. Hunter, thank you for your 45 stars. I appreciate you. Let me get some questions on YouTube now because I've been kind of dominating on Facebook here. WLKY's news is saying 5 to 10 inches for Louisville. Would you agree? Again, the thing with forecasts is they're always going to be a little bit different depending on who you go with. We always go a little bit more reserved on our first call for snowfall. Again, this could absolutely change. Right now, what I see is 3 to 6 inches of snow and sleet combination for Louisville. All right. Again, that could change tomorrow. Theirs could change tomorrow. So again, as of what I see of right now, 3 to 6 inches is the zone for Louisville, along with a little bit of ice. Uncovered Cube on YouTube says, do you think it will move north or south right now? Again, I can't predict how it's going to move. I can only communicate how it's moving. So, I'll make sure you guys are the first to know whenever or if ever it does kind of wiggle. Yes, Lynn, balloons have been sent up. So this late night data and tomorrow morning's data should be really good. Yeah, Tommy, ½ inch of ice is a lot, man. It's a lot. Again, we read that, and us as humans, we think, oh man, ½ inch of ice is nothing because it's only a ½ inch. But a ½ inch of ice is enough to bring down power lines if the winds are gusting enough. It's enough to keep you in your house for a few days if the temperatures are cold enough. I mean, it's heavy. No. So February 2024, that's a good question, Mac. That was more of just an Eastern Kentucky only event for ice, and then in Central Kentucky there was like 4 inches of sleet. I don't think we're looking at 4 inches of sleet. I don't think we're looking at an Eastern Kentucky only type of thing. So it's quite a bit different. Dill Pickle on YouTube says, when will warnings be issued? I think you're probably looking at Saturday night. I don't control the NWS. We only communicate with them sometimes. But if I had to guess based upon what I would do, it would be Saturday night. Jose, thank you for your 40 stars. I appreciate you, friend. Lisa, the data never stops. I can only tell you that as we get closer, each 3 to 4 hours, new data comes out, and we analyze it, and each time it gets a little bit better. Again, Owensboro is right there on the screen. You can see that pretty easily for yourself. And I'm not being mean by that, guys. Just to be clear, I'm not being mean by that. But if I sat here and answered every single city in town, we would be here for hours. Just find yourself on the map there, correlate it to the legend, and then you have your answers. The start time, by the way, for everyone, once again, is about 5 to 9 a.m. on Sunday. The end time is about the afternoon time frame on Monday. No, it will not be snow, freezing rain that entire 36 hours, but it will be for the majority. We will have little breaks here and there. Sabrina, during the actual rain and snow itself, the winds do calm down a little bit. But afterward, almost immediately when the precipitation shuts off, the winds really pick up to about 20 to 30 mile per hour. Jeffrey, there are more signs of activity after the storm, yes. Andrew, yeah, I mean, I take little when stuff like this goes on throughout the day, I take cat naps every 10 to 12 hours, but for the most part, yes, I'll be up. I would take I would take 5 feet of snow over ice any day. Me too, my friend. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. That maybe weren't here for the '09 ice storm, or that maybe you've just never really seen the impacts of ice before. You can ask anybody that has seen both of what we're about to see, and every single one of them would tell you they would rather have 5 feet of snow, which is 60 inches of snow, than 2/10 of an inch of ice. That's how dangerous ice is, guys, and that's why we've been so passionate and so aggressive about telling you guys to stay off the roads. Stay off the roads. Don't go to the gas station to get your candy bars. Don't go to McDonald's to get your cheeseburgers. Unless it's an absolute emergency, stay off the roads, please. So, that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast. We've been live for 32 minutes here. Again, I'll probably make another update tonight. And if anything changes, I'll let you guys know. Tomorrow morning, we'll probably do another broadcast at some point. Tomorrow night, we have a special broadcast coming up. We'll be talking with Greg Milby and Joey Scott. Joey Scott's the emergency management director in Hardin County. He's going to give us some background as to what they do, what we can do to help them out. And even though it's just from Hardin County, it can apply, I'm sure, to most counties throughout the state. Because they all pretty much do similar things. So make sure you pay attention to that broadcast. That'll be a really cool one. He'll give us some cool information about what they do and about how we can help them and about what we can do to make our life a little bit easier through this pretty tough event. So that'll be a cool broadcast tomorrow night at about 6 p.m. Eastern time. In between now and then, of course, I'll update you several times. But anywho, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Until next time, stay safe.